All right, diving right in, ever wondered, like, who makes sure that all those X-rays and radiation therapies, those powerful things, are actually safe, but also effective?
Yeah, it's a pretty important job making sure that's all working the way it's supposed to. We're talking to medical physics experts.
That's right, medical physics experts. And we're going to really dig into this whole thing thanks to RoleCatcher. They've got those great career resources. And you prep this whole deep dive. So for someone like me, what's the main thing? What does a medical physics expert actually do?
Okay, so imagine you need radiation, right? To treat a tumor. A medical physics expert is the one who makes sure that you're getting the right amount
Oh, okay.
to shrink the tumor, but not too much that it's going to hurt you. It's that precision that they bring.
Wow, that's way more like down to earth than just advisors on radiation physics, which is like what RoleCatcher says, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's going beyond just the textbook and all that. These experts, they're involved in everything. I mean, from measuring the radiation, which that's dosimetry, by the way,
Okay.
to choosing the actual technology, a hospital uses all of it.
Oh, wow. So they're like right there as new treatments and imaging, all that's being developed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're also the ones who are like analyzing what happened if there's an accident
Oh, right.
or like an exposure, figuring out how to prevent it next time.
Yeah.
It's like turning, even when something goes wrong, they make it a learning thing to improve safety for everybody.
Okay, now that is interesting. So they're almost like investigators, but for radiation.
Exactly, exactly. And they train like other people, other healthcare professionals too, because there's got to be a team effort to keep patients safe.
Yeah, of course. Man, this is already giving me a much better idea of what they do, their impact, and all that. But let's get into what it's like to actually be a medical physics expert. So we're talking high-tech equipment and radiation could be risky. What's the average day like? I mean, for a medical physics expert, where are they working?
Yeah, so you'll find them mostly in hospitals and clinics, those kinds of places. Oh, and research facilities too, anywhere that's using radiation for patients.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? Where it's all happening. So is it all like sterile labs and lead aprons, or am I going a little too Hollywood?
Well, you're not totally off base. I mean, things have got to be clean and controlled, that's for sure,
Yeah.
because of the whole radiation thing. But it's not like they're just huddled behind lead shields all day.
Okay.
Actually, they're collaborating a lot.
Oh, interesting. So who are they like teaming up with?
Well, think about it. They're the link between like the physics of radiation
Right.
and then how it's actually used in medicine. So you've got doctors, radiologists, other physicists, anyone who makes sure the radiation is like
Right.
safe and actually does what it needs to for each patient.
So it's a big team effort to, get the best results.
That's it. And it goes beyond just the medical team, actually. They're talking to equipment vendors, keeping up with all the new tech,
Right.
and of course, regulatory agencies. Got to make sure everything's by the book.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that whole regulatory side of things. But that makes sense. So it's really important for these experts to be, good at communicating, not just the physics stuff.
You got it. And speaking of the physics stuff, you're right, it changes fast. Medical physics experts are always learning new technologies and innovations.
Which, I mean, that probably keeps things interesting.
Yeah.
So what would you say are like the best parts and the toughest parts of a job like that?
Well, the rewarding side, it's really specialized, and you're making a big difference, like knowing your expertise is literally impacting whether patients are safe.
Mhm.
I mean, that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. What about the flip side? The challenges. It seems like there'd be a ton of responsibility, pressure, all that.
You're telling me it's high stakes, dealing with potential accidents, and all that comes with using radiation for medicine. So yeah, stress is part of the job.
Yeah.
And you got to be super careful, detail-oriented, because even a small mistake can be,
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah, totally. It's not just knowing the physics, it's like using it perfectly every single time for each patient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, keeping up with the field, it never stops changing.
Yeah.
You got to really love to learn new things constantly.
Got it. Okay, so now I'm getting a sense of like what it takes to do this job, but what about becoming one? What kind of education skills, all that, do you need to get into this whole medical physics thing? All right, so we've talked about like you really got to know your physics, right? And be super careful, always learning. So someone who wants to do this, what kind of, schooling are we talking?
Well, you got to have that physics foundation, that's for sure. Degrees in medical physics or radiological sciences. Some people even come from nuclear engineering, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's about really understanding radiation, like how it works with the human body and all.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Those are some serious degrees. Sounds like a brain surgeon for radiation or something. So it's not just the degree, right? What else makes someone good at this? What are those key skills?
You're right, it takes a certain kind of person.
Yeah.
You know, RoleCatcher, they actually found some cool stuff. I mean, reading is huge, of course. You've got all those like medical reports, research papers, technical
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Got to be able to make sense of all that.
Exactly. Then active listening. We talked about all the teamwork, right?
Yeah.
Got to really hear what the doctors, the technicians, even the patients are saying.
Right. It's more than just the physics, it's fitting into that whole medical team.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then get this customer services up there too.
Wait, really? That doesn't seem very, like, physicsy.
It's all about that human side,
Mm.
explaining things to patients who are probably stressed out anyway.
Mm.
Being able to talk clearly, make them comfortable, that's huge.
Wow. Okay, so you got to be good at science A&D talking to people. So, say you've got the degree, you've got the skills, what's next? How do you move up in the medical physics world?
Oh, there are tons of ways to grow, to specialize.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, a lot of people go for certifications, like
Yeah.
becoming a certified medical physicist. Shows you're at the top of your game.
Right, like a black belt in physics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some people, they become the dosimetry expert,
Mm.
all about calculating those radiation doses perfectly. Or maybe they're the quality assurance guru, making sure every machine is working perfectly.
So you can become like the expert in one little part of it?
Yep. And of course, there's the management track,
Yeah.
leading teams, running whole departments.
Okay, so lots of ways to go. So we've talked about how important this is now, but like, what about the future? All this technology changing so fast, AI, robotics, all that. Where do you see this whole medical physics thing going?
That is the million-dollar question. It's going to be fascinating to see. It's a field that never sits still, and the people who love that challenge, they're going to be leading the way.
So cool. Well, huge thanks to you. This has been awesome. And to everyone listening, thanks for diving into this with us. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive on something totally new and interesting.